Oh, wow, what a weird Sunday. I mean, can't believe we played one game on Saturday and then, 6 games on Sunday. I was getting tired watching games. But, some things did fall in our way, I guess. I'm not sure. There was one or two that were surprising one way, one or two surprising the other way. But in general, I don't apologize for anything. I think we earned everything. I still think we had the toughest schedule, and I think we did our job. And it wasn't perfect, and not getting to play the extra game. I thought we earned everything we got. So that'd be the first thing. And it was a great way to close out the regular season. You think of what we went through, but think what our fans went through. Think what our students went through. Think how many stayed. Could have gone to spring break and stayed there for senior day. It was impressive by our fans, our community, and our students, and I was overwhelmed by that. It meant a lot to us. The environment was great as always. When you have recruits up, football and basketball, and you have environments like that, it's always special. I want to be happy about the win because our offensive stats, we have a 5-game stats, which we really were only 3-2, and 3 of the games were on the road. But Joey Hauser's shooting 50, or Tyson 53, 52 from the 3, and 86. Hauser's 53, 56, and 91. Hogard 44, 50, and 86. Akins 49, 62 from the 3, and 71. Malik Hall 45, 43 from the 3, and 1,000. I mean, we're shooting over 50%, over 50, almost 54 from the 3, and 85 from the line. Those are world-class offensive stats, some that we've never seen here. The problem is our defensive stats have gone down. As I stated after the game, in those same 5 games, we're giving up in the high 40s and we're giving up in the high 30s. And that has been disappointing. I looked at it on film. I watched a lot of film yesterday. We had some teams that shot well against us. It's easy when you don't take a lot of shots, like the Michigan game. They hit those 2 threes at the end. One real tough shot and one when it was over. That changes when you don't shoot a lot. The Iowa game, we did such a great job until the last minute and a half and make 5 out of 6 in the last 40 seconds, whatever it was. That changes it. The Ohio State game, we made some tough ones late. Defense wasn't as bad as I thought. They just made some tough shots, but we have to do a better job on that, and we have most of the season. We've been 1 in 3-point field goal defense most of the year. We've been in the top 2 or 3 in regular field goal defense, and all of a sudden we dropped to 8. So that's the battle cry this week, and I told them, give me 3 days. That's going to last 3 weeks, because whatever you do in the next 3 days, there's not a lot of practice time after that, unless you lose games early, or because you could play till Saturday or Sunday, and then you could be on the road Tuesday playing Thursday in Sacramento. There's a lot of strange scenarios out there. So tonight, tomorrow, maybe 2, and then Wednesday, it's going to be big days for us to get back on track defensively on some of the coverages. And when your defense goes down and you give up penetration, then your rebounding goes down, and we're even on the boards, and that hasn't been the way it's been most of the year. So that was the only disappointing part. On the tournament, I've been saying all year that the league is crazy, and it proved to be crazier than I thought it was. I just couldn't believe some of the games and some of the way some of the games went yesterday, but it's been that way all year, so it has been consistently insane. The couple of games that broke our way to get the double bye, as I said, don't apologize, because some things went against us too throughout the year. And I feel very comfortable with where we are, feel deserving of it. If we would have been a 5 or 6 and we've been a 4 or 3, I think we deserve that. But we do get a couple of days now to prep, and what you do in these games, the ironic part is we've just played Iowa and Ohio State. We could play either one of them. The scary one is we haven't played Wisconsin since the beginning of the year, so it'll be a completely new prep. So we'll do a little work on them here today and tomorrow, and figure out who we play on Thursday and play Friday. And I think everything is, it's going to be some interesting games, and I'll take questions on them, but I probably have no answers for.
And you kind of alluded to it, but I'm wondering about how you prep, particularly this year when you've got 3 potential opponents, but it's not like, even with the way Minnesota and Ohio State have played down the stretch here, it's not like you can discount anyone.
No, the funny part is too, on like some of these teams, it's when you play a team. Like playing Minnesota late, if we would have played them late, I mean, I think those guys have been back 1 or 2 games and we played them. But right now, I watched them against Wisconsin. I told you, he's a good coach and they do a good job, and those guys back make a big difference. And so yeah, I wouldn't think there's any. I think you watched Nebraska, I mean, they legitimately played well, which made our win even bigger. I mean, it wasn't lucky what they did. They played real well. So usually you have those years where you can at least predict that you got a chance at 2 of them. And for us this year, you can't predict anything. I could see anybody beating anybody that first night. The second night, I can see 80% of the teams beating anybody, and then you go from there.
Not exactly my question, but how many Hail Marys exactly did you say yesterday?
Yeah. The funny part is I wanted to plan Friday if possible, because everybody does, but it wasn't, I didn't lose sleep over it, I think for 2 reasons. How in the hell could that many scenarios happen? That's one reason. And the second reason was, it's not like we're gonna play somebody easier. It's just maybe you play 1 less game. Because I still think that whoever you play, it's just gonna be a tough out. They're all gonna be tough games. Maybe in Malik's case, getting a little healthier, he wasn't great the last game. Maybe it helps there. Maybe it gives us an extra day to shore up our defense and kind of get back to basics on some of those things. So that's good, but other than that, it wasn't like I got a lot of things to pray about bigger than being a 4 seed.
Kind of playing into that though a little bit with the minutes guys are playing. I know you tried to trim AJ's back a little bit, but is this kind of, especially with guys like Joey, Tyson that are just playing 35, is it kind of to the point of the season where it's just what it is? I mean, there's not really a place to find breaks at this point.
I still think, like in, Malik's still going to be important, really important. I think, Carson could be important to us now, depending with some of the bigs we could face, because he was hurt and then he was out, and he's back on track now. And I still think Pierre can help us. I think there's going to be a game where he's going to make some shots and he can help us. So, but is it, for the most part, is what it is? Probably. I guess it's the one good thing about TV now. There'll be those long timeouts. But yeah, it probably is what it is. But don't tell my team that, because we're going to practice like they're going to get rest, because we need to get some things done. I told them, skill-wise, you could not do more than you're doing as far as 5, 6, 7 games. And skill-wise, meaning, but effort-wise, or, the things that don't take the skill, can you rebound the ball? Can you get over a ball screen? Can you communicate on switches? Those just take effort. And that's kind of what we're gonna work on, whether it be physical or mental, that's what we're gonna work on.
I'm sure you guys are feeling good about the way they're hitting shots, but do you feel like they're kind of heeding your message as far as that's not what you can count on here in March? You got to, the defense and rebounding aspect.
I don't know. That was the whole meeting this morning. It was, I don't know if they're getting that message. We'll find out at practice tonight. But I think they do, and it's not like we're trying to reinvent the wheel. We have been a good defensive team, So we're just trying to get back to that defensive philosophy. You know, we weren't a very good offensive team, and we put a lot of our practice time and extra time into the offense. So it really comes down to, well, you emphasize what you get, and yet we've been maybe unbalanced a little bit. Could be my fault, but we're gonna, you know, try to get as balanced as we can and build on the positives and get our defending and rebounding back. And usually, if you defend better, you rebound better, because number one, you get more chances to rebound. Number two, part of defense is those penetrations, and when people penetrate on you, that's when it's harder to rebound.
Tom, obviously this is the prelude to win or go home time, but how much do you really try to impress upon them, play like your future depends on it?
Exactly what I talked about today. I said these next 3 days of practice will be for the next 1, 2, or 3 weeks, you know, however long you want to stay in it. But it is win and go home. It is one and done time. And everything you do, you know, it's one and done, the Big Ten tournament, and it's one and done for the season, you know. And but that's, you know, this team should be wired for that. They should be ready for that. They faced every obstacle you could face, and then some that I didn't think you could face. And so they've been battle tested. They've played good schedule. They've been under adversity. They've gone through tragedies. They, you know, whether they are mentally tough enough now and not fatigued mentally, that'll be the difference. If they get themselves ready to go mentally, I think physically we'll be fine. And still think I said what I said, and I still believe it. I still think this team's good enough to make a run, and that's always putting myself out there a little bit, but I don't always say it, or if I do, I just lie to you guys, and I don't believe it deep down, but I say it and I believe it, so we'll see if we can do it.
You talk about the offensive numbers in the 5 games, and the jump is obviously noticeable, and I'm wondering what you see that's caused it, if anything, and is it Jaden's, you know, emergence a little more and giving one more person to overwhelm other teams, or what has sort of led to this change?
Well, we really harped on ball movement, and Monty did a good job on that. We really harped on, we just felt like we were dribbling the ball to death, and I think some of you thought that too, you know, 10 games ago. And so we talked about moving the ball more, talked about getting our break going a little bit better. AJ's done a better job of that. We talked about getting to the free throw line. I would say, let me look here. We've done a better job of it. You know, the free throw line, we're getting there 18 times a game. We were down in the 12s and 11s. And we're shooting such a good percentage that makes a difference. But I just think in general, you're right, Jaden is coming into form. Malik gives us something, and he's not quite there yet, but when you have one more guy to guard, then it leaves some openings for Joey and Tyson, who are playing well, and because AJ, I think, is moving the ball better and doing some better things, that's a plus there too.
I'll ask many X's and O's question, and I'll leave those to Jack. But you're averaging 80 points a game, like 5-6 games, and your defense is not up to your expectations. My question is, can you have it both ways? Can you fix one and still be proficient at the other?
My answer would be hell yes, but my real answer would be we'll see, because I think that's what needs to happen, you know? Like, I mean, we're averaging 85 a game in the last 5 games. Now that's with the 100-point game, but our opponents are averaging 80. That's with the 100-point game. If you take that out of there, we're probably both in the high 70s and then in the mid 70s. I'd like to be 80 and have them 70, and I'd be satisfied. That doesn't sound like too big of a deal, but I think you'd all agree, you know, and some of it is when you score more points, like you look at it 2 ways. You know, you're worried about the points you score, or you're worried about the shooting percentage. I'm more worried about the shooting percentage, because sometimes teams hold teams to not many points because they walk the ball up and there's not many opportunities. So I look at percentages more, and I'm not happy with our defensive percentages. I haven't been happy with the second chance points in most games. We're not as good a rebounding team, and sometimes we've been playing a little more small ball. And Malik isn't the same yet. He's not. And guarding or rebounding the ball. And but I think he's got a chance to. And if he does, that's another big lift, like Jaden's given us, you know. So we'll see. But I don't see why you can't have both. I really don't.
Coach, for how great the offense has been lately, if the defense can come up to par with the same as offense, how dangerous can this team be, especially with the defensive stops can open up more threes in transition since you have one of the nation's top shooting offenses?
Yeah, well, I'd say that's a good way to put it. And if you get more chances because you stop people, you get more fast breaks. If you get more fast breaks, you got a better chance to score, number one, maybe to the rim, which AJ's done a good job of. Malik is actually getting better on that wing now in that respect. But if AJ and we're pushing it, flattening the defense out, the kickbacks for Joey and Malik would be even better. And you know, Malik hit a big three. And Malik took some steps this week, missed some shots early, came back and nailed that three in the break. You know, it's good to see that. It's good to see him doing the things he needs to do to get his confidence back. And so, you know, it's always nice to be a good offensive team. You know, everybody likes that, whether it be media people, moms, players, you know, but I like doing the things that it takes to do to win, and not many people win just by shooting threes or making offensive plays. You got to be able to guard. You got to be able to check somebody. You got to be able to rebound the ball. And the other area that has improved, that's helped us, is our turnovers. I mean, even like last game 8, the Nebraska game, it was 7, and at the last minute we turned it over 3 times on a couple of dumb plays when the game was over. The one game that we turned it over a little bit more, I think, was Michigan. We had 14, and that causes you to lose games. So turnovers have been down in general. We're down to 10. We'd like to get under 10, but down to 10 has been a big reason too, because we're getting more shots. What we're not doing that this program has done, that the culture is here, is offensive rebounding as well. I mean, it was really good second half of the Nebraska game, but has not been. I think we had 8 last game. As I look here, offensive rebounding, our opponents have 6 or 7 more than us. That should be illegal. You know, here it shouldn't be the way it works. But that's the effort-related things that all comes down to. Are we defending right well enough? Because the defense ends with a rebound. It doesn't end with just the defense.
Tom, you built this program on rebounding, dating all the way back to '95, that first win over Arkansas. When things aren't happening that way, is it execution or is it attitude and mindset?
I think it's effort and mindset, to be very honest with you. I really do. I do not think we're going aggressively enough. You know, Jaden was one of my best offensive rebounders. When he got hurt, you know, he hasn't gone the same way. Malik definitely hasn't gone. Those are 2 really good offensive rebounders. Then the defensive side, you know, those same guys that we're not cutting out quite as well. You know, we're not being as physical. Now, we're not as physical of a team in general. And then the problem is, you know, I used to go in the locker room, you bring up the Arkansas game, I think we had 24, 26 offensive rebounds. That's when Judd Heathcote coined it that your best offense is the missed shot. And the players knew we were gonna miss the shot. The coach knew that we were gonna miss the shot. We just fooled the opponent thinking that we'd make the shot, and we were sending 4 and we were doing that. So some of it is a little bit, you know, we've had to change a little bit when we had the injuries. We've had to change from how we practice. We've had to change from getting back on defense and worry more about transition than that. and then trying to switch that halfway through the year. That's been one of the challenges I've had. But in general, that's what I said today. Skill things, you're doing well. If we do the effort things, which we should control, and then the toughness and mental and physical toughness, which sometimes you can control, not all the time. So that's why I think we still have a shot, but we'll find out how we practice and tell me a lot. Whether there's a concerted effort to say we're not good enough in these areas, we gotta get better, then I say that's a big plus for us. And what I like about it is, I keep saying, we've done it before with this same group. And we've actually added 2 guys that should make us better. But working that in is not always as easy as it looks.
It's the 25th anniversary of the Big Ten tournament, and you've seen it go from 11 to 12 to 14. What is it right now compared to when it started, and what do you see the future of it in the coming years as the league keeps growing?
Right now, it's a pain in my backside because it's gotten too good. It's gotten too much better, you know. And I mean, when you're talking teams that are playing on Wednesdays that I look at and say they got a chance to win it, I'm being honest. So it's really good, and you know, I'm not sure. I liked it more when I started. I understood why the Knights and Katie's weren't as crazy about it. I still question a little bit that last Sunday, because I just don't know if it helps anything, and I think that's sad as far as the selection goes. But I think the one thing I do like about it that is, it's got a little football to it, is bowl games get 3 weeks. The fraternity brothers in California talk to the fraternity brothers in Florida and New York, and it's guys' weekend out. Well, nowadays the girls do the same. The sorority sisters in here get with the sorority It's just a place where you can plan something. You know, like the NCAA tournament, you find out Sunday you could be playing Thursday. Hell, you guys can hardly plan. I can hardly plan. But the Big Ten tournament is something that, you know, if I was an alumnus of here, I would make sure that it'd be a great way to stay in touch. A better way than Facebook, put it that way, to stay in touch with your friends. And I could see a weekend in Chicago or a weekend in Indy. And to me, that's, when I'm done, that's what I'm gonna do. I ain't gonna miss one. I'll be there for all 4 days and cheer on my team, Michigan State, but enjoy the other games and enjoy the people that you know, I've met and known, and hopefully we all get together. I think that's the beauty of that tournament. You know, does it make a lot of money? Probably does. Is it exciting? For the fans it is, for the coaches it's nerve-wracking, but is it something for our alums to really wrap and embrace their arms around? 100%. I mean, to me that would be, and I talked to a lot of them that are doing that. You know, there's a lot of them come back there and can't even get tickets and go to that Michigan State bar over there and you know, drink water and cheer on their team, I'm sure.
When you're done, you can create a Facebook profile.
Probably ain't happening, Fred, so don't worry about it. Yes.
The last time the tournament was at the United Center, you guys won the championship game against Michigan in 2019. So just curious, your fondest memories of the United Center, and maybe how this team, you've mentioned it, well, you know, several times, how it has the opportunity to make a run. That team made a run to the Final Four.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. I remember the game was, I remember Mark D'Antonio brought players over. That's when you could do that. Remember, he brought a bus with some guys, and so McQuaid went nuts, didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't McQuaid go nuts? Arnie got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game, and we came back and won the game. And so my memory of the United Center, phenomenal. They're awesome. You know, let's have a party there. You know, but in the 13 or 14, had a similar one in Indianapolis. So I'm not prejudiced. I'll go anywhere and play if we can find a way to win a championship game. And if it's against Michigan, that's even better. But I would say that, you know, the neat thing about Chicago is I think all the schools have so many alums in Chicago. And when you're there and, you know, if you go for the walk or jog, you know, you just, there's something about seeing different colors, different hats, different people. That's one of the neat parts about it. So I like Chicago, I like Indianapolis, I like every place we go and win on that Sunday would be my favorite place, but Chicago has been, I think, pretty good to us and pretty good to our alums, and we have a lot of alums there, so that makes it a great place for us to go.
This class doesn't have a banner. Is that part of the rallying cry at all?
Yeah, I don't have a banner yet. I mean, I'm not putting the pressure on me or them, but that's what the games are for, you know, is, and you want every class to have something. Now, this class, when it's all said and done, you know, and it's different with the classes now, but I'd say for Joey and Malik, God, they've been through it all, you know, they've been through it all. Most college kids don't deserve to have to go through what they went through with all the things that have happened, but at the same time, you know, they too are gonna be pretty prepared. So I'm looking forward to trying to help these guys get something positive that they will remember, that'll make up for all the COVID nights and the things that they've gone through. And so hopefully we'll do that. We're gonna try to see one of our students was moved to a facility in Chicago. We're gonna try to stop by and see him, and again, continually not forget the people that we lost, and yet try to bring some more joy, and try to bring some more healing, and try to bring a banner back. That's what the battle cry will be.
Anything else?
Thanks. See you there.
Appreciate it.
How do we know when it's got,
They do have a banner.
they're on the big tennis.
2020.
Here's the 2020.
Oh, that's right.
Joey's technically on the team.
So we'll lose now.
Yeah, jinx.
No, it's not. Thank you, because I was gonna mention the same thing.
Yeah.
He said it the other day too, and I was like,
Saw about Patches in that game.
that's right.
I read about that in the Lansing State Journal.
You know the detail I didn't know, and I wish I had known. That's something, you know, the confetti that they used to do on Little Baby Steven?
Yeah.
That was stuff that Blue Bay scooped up in a bag, just found floors.
That's awesome.
5 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's